52,000 customers were restored over the last 24 hours. Approximately 490,380 customers, 72% of the customer base is still without power. 70% of the distribution network is de-energized, with only sections of Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, and St. Thomas, the main areas being served. 8 major hospitals have been restored, including all major hospitals in Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine, Spanish Town now has power. We're working to restore 13 other major health clinics across the island. Power has been restored to the Norman Manley International Airport. Total customers out as of October 29th, 542,000, and customers restored over the last 24 hours, 52,000, leaving 490,000 without power. All 3 international airports are now open for relief supplies. Norman Manley International resumed operations this morning for commercial passenger. JUTC rolled out 175 buses this morning in the Kingston metropolitan area, Spanish Town and Portmore. Those buses are going to stay on the routes, the rural routes, West Rural and East Rural. The road conditions and damage are bad, so we're unable to get into those areas. And the Rural Express, JUTC Rural Express, will discontinue the Negril service until obviously access is accessible.
Jamaica and the government tries to deal with the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. We have some unscrupulous players, not necessarily within Jamaica, but worldwide, trying to take disadvantage of the situation. The Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, Jamaica CERT, is issuing an urgent alert to the public in Jamaica and worldwide regarding the emergence of fraudulent websites attempting to exploit generosity in the wake of Hurricane Melissa. Jamaica CERT's monitoring systems have detected multiple suspicious domains currently under development that appears designed to divert hurricane relief donations away from legitimate channels. In fact, up to last night, we identified 8 such sites, and just now it has been updated to 28 sites that are attempting to divert contributions, donations from legitimate sources. These malicious actors are creating fake websites with names deliberately similar to Jamaica's official donation portal. What you have identified, ladies and gentlemen, is that these sites are at varying stages of development, but Jamaica CERT suspect that these sites may become active in coming days. The only legitimate government website for Hurricane Melissa relief donations is https://www.supportjamaica.gov.jm. How should you protect yourselves? Verify the URL carefully.
As we close, we urge safety as you move about, as we recover together. We will have further updates inside Jamaica Magazine tomorrow. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, gis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at gis.gov.jm or via X at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
A mammogram can shape your motherhood. The Jamaica Cancer Society, helping women now. Visit the website at jcs.live. Early detection saves lives.
Good evening and welcome to Lead Story. I am Joel Crosskill. Now, as part of our ongoing comprehensive coverage here on CVM of the passage and aftermath of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa, tonight we zone in on relief and recovery efforts and the networks that are being activated in order to ensure that Jamaica builds back quickly and even stronger than before. Now, as we have brought you images and reports from all around the island, even as the most acute effects of the weather system scoured the land, challenges in highlighting the worst affected parishes remains a complete challenge, with many areas lacking electricity, internet and phone service, making communications with our correspondents even more challenging. We, however, assure you that we are documenting the very real lived experiences of those who faced its onslaught. An organization critical to those efforts, the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS. And we're now joined by their Mrs. Williams. Mrs. Williams.
Hi, Joel. Good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to all your listeners.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for joining us at this hour. Of course, your responsibilities for the Jamaica Power Company rely on communications and public relations. This is a very challenging time for most Jamaicans, particularly in the absence of some critical infrastructure. Can you tell us about the recovery efforts that are being made by JPS?
Certainly. So we are officially in the damage assessment phase of our recovery/rebuilding efforts. But what this means is that we are not necessarily exclusively doing damage assessment. By and large, we are, which means checking on our power plants, checking on our substations, and the general power delivery system. However, at the same time, while we are doing this, we are also trying to restore customers who are in areas that were not as badly affected. So customers who are in Kingston and St. Andrew, in St. Thomas, and in St. Catherine, parts of St. Catherine, like Portmore, who are not as badly affected, we are also restoring them at the same time. So what customers who are in those areas will notice is that they may not have had power, but they got it sometime between, and even some of the persons who you might know might tell you they got back power 10 p.m., 11, 12. We really have been working up into the wee hours of the morning, getting people back in. We're also, of course, prioritizing our essential services. So a number of hospitals in those areas are in as well. In fact, I believe all of them are in these areas. So we right now, since the passage of Hurricane Melissa, have put back in 50,000 of our customers. And this, of course, is really just the beginning. When you look at the entire map, the western and the central areas of Jamaica took a really, really bad hit. Our CEO, our president and CEO, Hugh Grant, he had an aerial tour yesterday and saw some of the damage. And I wish I had some of that to share with you, but I certainly will share it when I get it. One example, though, that really strikes us, he was looking at an 80-foot, what was an 80-foot steel tower. I beg your pardon. I want to make sure that I remain connected with you. Pardon me. An 80-foot steel tower. And this steel tower was folded over as if it was a piece of foil. And when you think about the kind of wind speed that would have done that to something made of steel, it boggles the mind. When you see all the homes that just have no roofs, and some homes that are just no more, really, it is very, very disturbing. One of the things that we have recognized is that the transmission system, now understand that the transmission system is really part of the backbone of the electrical grid, and significant portions of the transmission system have been damaged in Western and Central Jamaica. So this really speaks to a very deep and long, a very ongoing rebuilding process, not just restoring. Let me explain to you transmission. I don't know, for the benefit of our listeners, sometimes you hear transmission, you hear distribution. It just all sounds like wires and not necessarily differentiated in your mind. The example I like to use, because it is easy as a layman for me to follow, is wholesale and retail distribution. So, you have the wholesaler who has the goods in bulk, and you can go there and buy like a number of containers and a whole lot. And then the wholesalers take it to the retailers. And then we as individual consumers might go to the retailer and buy a few items, like a couple tins of something. Well, if you use that analogy for the electrical system, the transmission system is your wholesaler. So the transmission system takes the electricity from the power plants and as a wholesaler, huge quantities and very high levels of power. At that level, it can't be used in your home. That's too much for the average household, or for any household for that matter. The distribution system now is the retailer. It takes from the wholesaler in smaller quantities that the consumer can take. Yeah. So what you have is you have a transmission network, and the power is at a high level. When it goes to the substation, that power is stepped down, right? Now you're down to the distribution level. And that's the level at which we can consume the power, right? So the distribution lines go out to the communities and so on. When it gets to the transformer, the thing that looks like a garbage pan on your pole, it steps it down even more so that it can go to your home safely. So that's a little really crude 101 electricity distribution lesson right there for you. So when the transmission network is compromised or devastated, you know that everything else coming down the line will have a problem.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Sorry to interrupt you, but we do have to go to a commercial break. We'll return in a moment to continue this conversation on power generation in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, BCIC and JNGI stand with you. Starting Thursday, October 30, the following branches will be open and ready to help with Hurricane Melissa-related claims: BCIC Duke Street, Crossroads, Portmore and New Kingston. JNGI King Street and New Kingston. We are working to resume full service at our other branch locations soon. We appreciate your patience during this difficult time, and we are committed to making the claims process as smooth and supportive as possible.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction, 'cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music is I play, and the people that I say we are my show tonight. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't put it down. Shine your lights on.
It's time!
Welcome to High School Pitchside. We have another fascinating episode for you.
More matches, more big clashes.
Let's talk about some of the big rivalries coming up this week.
More of your favorite features.
And trust me, you won't fall asleep in this history class.
And of course, we always want to hear from you.
Hear from your alma mater's players and coaches in Team Talk.
You know we can't leave you out. So send us your messages on social media and watch us react on FanView.
And you know we love a good little debate, right, Gio? We've got you covered all season long on High School Pitchside.
High School Pitchside, your ultimate guide to all things schoolboy football, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
Jamaica's unemployment rate has fallen to 3.3%, down from 13.2% in 2016. Our government's continued focus on job creation is delivering real results. We are building Jamaica. The time by the Office of the Prime Minister is...
Welcome back. Relief and recovery efforts remain in focus here on Lead Story. We're looking at the peculiar challenges associated with the passage of such a powerful storm on Jamaica's electricity grid. Joining me before the break and still with us from JPS, Ms. Orsley Williams, responsible for communications for the Jamaica Public Service Company. Ms. Williams.
Yes.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, before the break, you were telling us a little bit about transmission. I'd be interested to hear about generation, because I understand in certain circumstances such as these, Jamaica's transition towards a diversified input of energy generation has again been disrupted with the passage of this storm. I don't think we're able to take any wind or solar energy as it stands. Is that accurate?
Well, you are accurate in saying that our solar, the entire renewable energy output right now is down, as in to zero. So we're not getting anything from the renewables right now. It is important in any kind of fuel mix that there be diversification. The diversification of the fuel mix is a combination of JPS power plants, independent power plants, some of which are renewables, and we have renewables as well. So we have liquefied natural gas. We also use automotive diesel oil. We have 9 hydroelectric power plants, and hydropower means from rivers for the listeners who might not be so sure. But we also purchase electricity from independent power producers. So there are solar power plants that we purchase from, one in Clarendon, another in Paradise in Westmoreland. And of course, we purchase energy from Wigton Wind Farm and BMR Wind Farm as well. So there is...
Have we lost Ms. Williams?
There is some amount of diversification to speculate. Are you hearing me now?
Absolutely, yes, I am.
Hello?
Yes, we are hearing you clearly.
Great. So in terms of going forward, this is not necessarily a hindrance or a setback. I think with every situation like this, there are lessons, just lessons. So if there's a difficulty with a particular type of energy source, then is there a way to bolster that? Is there a way to do better by our people where that is concerned? Renewables has its advantages, but there are times when renewables may not be able to supply what you need. In certain types of adverse weather conditions, you need what is called firm capacity. And firm capacity just simply means electricity that is produced whether the sun is shining or not, whether the breeze is blowing or not, in the middle of the night, at any day or night. So firm capacity is not something that you can necessarily walk away from. So renewables would complement that, and various types of firm capacity is also a thing. So I think as we continue to develop, and as the government looks at how they want to shape the energy landscape, all of the lessons that we learn from the various things that happen along the way will help us only to have better plans as we go forward.
All right. Now, I believe the latest update that we heard coming out of the press briefing earlier today was that approximately 500,000 Jamaicans were at the time without electricity. I believe you have recovered power to over 50,000 of them. Are you moving at a similar pace in other parts of restoration?
Well, the truth is that this part might be a bit easier because we're dealing with areas that have minimal damage. when we get to the areas that have more deeply entrenched issues, issues where you're actually not just restoring power, but you are rebuilding sections of a network, then you might find that the pace is different. It's difficult at this point in time to say what the pace is going to be, because a lot of that is dependent on what comes out of the assessment. The assessment has to be done very thoroughly. And when you do a thorough assessment, it gives you a very clear idea of realistically what people can expect. I understand, we really do understand how eager people are to have back their electricity. We have JPS workers who don't have electricity. They too want power, right? We all want back the power. But we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're making promises that are not realistic and creating expectations that cannot be met. It is much better to take the time to know really and truly what you're dealing with on the ground in each of the situations and be able to say realistically to a customer, well, we're going to be in your community at this time. And when we say that, we show up and do it. That is a much better thing to do than to promise something that we can't deliver. So right now, it's assessment and getting a clear picture of what's really happening on the ground.
The scope of work from the untrained eye seems absolutely massive. We're seeing swathes of the western parishes downed fire poles, no roofs, challenges to keep in communication with the outside world. I know that JPS had instituted a number of communication devices or mechanisms to keep their customers informed of restoration work that is taking place on their lines, and also informing them of outages as well. How has that system helped your public keep informed and feel a little bit more reassured about the road ahead?
Thank you for asking that, Joel, because we also are having challenges in that area. So our customer care center is actually offline, and that's because part of our technical support for the customer care center is actually based in Western Jamaica. And as you know, the West took a hit. So on account of that, the customer care center is down. So anybody trying to get through on the 888 Call JPS line will not be able to do so. However, we do have other options. You can reach out to us on the mobile app, My JPS mobile app. You can reach out to us on the social media pages at My JPS online. You can look for information on the JPS website. There is a lot, and you can listen to the radio, because we are also advertising each step of the way things that are about to happen. So right now, we're in the assessment stage, etc. We'll advertise it on radio, because we know there are some people who are not on the digital space. And, that's just a fact of life. We would like people to know that there are no end of fake news being circulated. The last one I saw was a restoration schedule allegedly from JPS, which was not. We have not disseminated a restoration schedule. If you want to know if something is truly from JPS, go to our pages. If it's not on our page, if it's not on our Instagram page or our Facebook, wherever, it's not true. I mean, people even trying to grab the logo or a lookalike logo and putting information there saying, oh, you can expect X. This has been happening even from before the hurricane landed. Fake news about shutdown, power system shutdown. Now we're having fake news about restoration.
Have we lost Ms. Williams? It seems as though we've lost Ms.
I don't know what the obsession is, but I'm asking. I don't know what the obsession is with creating fake news, but there are people who seem to take great pleasure in misleading other people. Go to the JPS page to verify that the information is correct. Please.
All right, Ms. Williams, I'm sorry I'm going to have to interrupt you there, but you left us on a very salient note, given the context of our next guest. I believe we are joined now by Dr. Andrew Wheatley, who during the press conference earlier on today was warning about attempts at fraudulent activities at basically trying to take money away from the recovery efforts. We've had people making donations from across the world, sending money in support of this island. And Dr. Andrew Wheatley is warning that some of it is being diverted. Dr. Wheatley. Dr. Wheatley, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Can you just recapitulate what was mentioned during your presentation earlier on today?
Okay, good night, everyone. Now, in the midst of our disaster, we have some unscrupulous players that are trying to divert well-intended donation to the relief effort to their own coffers. We have seen over the last 24 hours a 200% increase in the number of these fake sites trying to solicit funding from persons who are looking to assist the relief effort in Jamaica. So you will see some websites coming up that speaks to the Hurricane Melissa, Jamaica. They're using words and a website that is quite similar to the official relief effort of the Jamaican government. And as such, we are indicating and instructing and informing persons that we have to be very careful of these scammers. You will see sites, say, for example, .com, .net, .org. And it should be noted that the official site of the government of Jamaica ends with .gov.jm. So we want to use this opportunity to inform the public that they need to be aware of these persons, these players trying to illegally solicit funds for their own benefit and not that of the relief effort.
All right. Thank you very much for that update, Dr. Wheatley. Now, in terms of these circumstances of insecurity and the new age of cyber threat that currently is being posed across the board, these bad actors aren't necessarily located in Jamaica, are they?
No, for the most part, these persons, based on our tracking system, these are persons operating outside of Jamaica. So it is not Jamaicans or persons residing in Jamaica that are initiating this type of scam. In fact, this scam is from outside of our jurisdiction. But with our the help of international partners, we have been able to identify these persons, and that is why we are bringing it to the fore to inform Jamaicans and persons all over the world who are looking to assist in the relief effort that they need to be wary of these players who are trying to illegally solicit funding through different mechanisms. And I want to use the opportunity, Joel, to tell persons that, listen, if you see any email coming to you asking for funding, it is not the government of Jamaica. Beware of those things. If you see any link being sent online, it is not the government of Jamaica. Our official site is on ODPM. It is on the Ministry of Labour and Social Security website or Ministry of Local Government. And it is best to type in the address rather than copying from a link, because then again you open yourselves to these unscrupulous persons who are trying to extract funding. And as a matter of fact, please be very careful how you treat your bank information when you go on these sites that are linked. Do not input your information, your banking or your personal information on these links that you copy. It's best to safeguard that information and just type in and go directly to the official website of the government of Jamaica as relates to relief support.
Now, Dr. Wheatley, I want to assure you, because you're unable to see for yourself, but just moments ago while you were speaking, we did have on screen a display of the official website that the public could go to in order to access it. So they got a general look and feel of what the official website looked like. We also had at the bottom of the screen the proper address. There it is, yes. supportjamaica.gov.jm. So that is the actual official site for donations to the government of Jamaica, who would then use those monies to assist Jamaicans in their recoveries. Dr. Wheatley, I'm going to have to pause briefly for a short break. I hope you do stay with us. This is Lead Story.
Jamaica, make we do the right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30.
We want a piece for Jamaica. Yeah. Yo, what are you? We have to be.
Oh man, no, brother, no, I'm not that.
You know, see you ever play ref? No, piggy, I'm not playing.
Yeah, but I look a bad game. No, I said, person to come from, brother, I want to live good, man. I want to live good, brethren. No shake hand, I can play a little bad, brethren.
Really have to shake hand?
Yeah, man, and no badness, brethren. Just live good, man.
Come together as one and make the violence done.
Visit VC's Electrical Sales today at 21 Mannings Hill Road, Kingston 8. Come see why VC's Electrical Sales is your go-to for quality electrical supplies at great prices. Check our website to see a sample of our products or call us for the full inventory at 876-622-9800. VC's Electrical Sales, also known as VC's Electrical Depot.
Welcome back to Tracking Melissa. The aftermath, relief and recovery is in focus for our discussion this evening. Before the break, I was joined by Dr. Andrew Wheatley, who is telling us about the proper places to go in order to make donations to the relief efforts, and we had that on screen for you before. Unfortunately, I was unable to say a proper goodbye to Dr. Wheatley, but this is live television and we have to move forward. I'm currently joined now by Superintendent Eglin Samuels, who is head of the Marine Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Superintendent Samuels, are you with us?
I'm here.
Thank you so much for joining us at this hour, Superintendent. Now, I've been trying to reach out to the Marine Division of the JCF throughout this process, and you gracefully allowed me insight into the operations that are taking place in the coastal recovery efforts. Could you tell us about what the process has been like for the Marine Police since the passage of Hurricane Melissa?
Thank you for having me. Well, first of all, let me express sympathy to the persons who have lost loved ones in the western end of the island. And just to say, I share their grief and we sympathize with the devastation that they are experiencing at the moment. As it relates for the Marine Police, prior to the passing of the hurricane, we had to pull all our assets we have
Superintendent Samuels, unfortunately, we're having challenges connecting with you at the moment. We're going to attempt to reconnect with you. My producer is just going through that process right now. But coming up until this point, we've been talking about the support as well that Jamaicans have been receiving internationally. Obviously, friends, family overseas, concerned onlookers from across the globe will be looking on Jamaica's circumstances to see just how well we are able to recover and survive in the days and weeks to come following the passage of the storm. And we've even had visitors to the island who have pledged their support in person. One of them, no less than the Premier of the Cayman Islands itself, who was part of this morning's press conference. I believe we have his contribution from this morning, do we? have a look at it now.
As Mr. Vaz has mentioned, and as you also have mentioned, we have had our own experience with Hurricane Ivan, and Jamaica was there for Cayman. So we pushed aside our usual state business and got on the first flight that we could to pledge our support. We have brought over an initial round of about US 200,000 of key essential supplies. We also have pledged, and I've written a letter signed by myself to your Prime Minister of about US 1.2 million of goods that we will have, essential supplies and resources that we will have shipped directly to Jamaica. So just know, on behalf of myself and the government, ministers who are here, Minister J.E. Banks, Minister Nick DaCosta, and the leader of the opposition, Cayman stands with Jamaica. Thank you. We'll have a host of other colleagues and friends that will come in the coming days and weeks, but God bless you all. God is in control.
Thank you. That was not expected, but thank you. Just to note, if we're leaving, can we go on this side, please, so we're not blocking the cameras that are right ahead? Thank you. Bye. So.
Hey.
All right, we apologize for that incorrect insert a moment ago. But I do believe we managed to get back in touch with Superintendent Samuels. Are you with us, Superintendent?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, and I'm hearing you clearly. Are you hearing me clearly as well?
I am hearing you clearly.
You're not out at sea right now, are you?
No.
All right, very good. So if you could tell us about the efforts that have been made in preparation for the hurricane as well as following its passage.
All right. In preparation for the hurricane, because of the assets that we have, as I said before, they are small craft and they mainly operate inshore. So whenever there's a threat of any serious weather condition, we have to pull them off sea onto land. So that is what we did at all our locations across Jamaica. Since the passage of the hurricane, we have managed to go back and see in most of the areas, well, not most, some of the areas, primarily in Kingston, only in Kingston, as a matter of fact, because all our other assets have been affected, especially those in the west. In fact, at this point, we are unable to account for one of our vessels that was in Accra. So technically, we are buckled to the knee. Only in Kingston we can operate freely, and we have been doing that since yesterday morning.
Are you receiving any additional assistance to bolster that coverage from any other agencies or organizations?
No. But a lot of what we do in support of the JDF. They support us, we support them. So where we cannot manage certain situations as existing in the Western region, no. It is the JDF that primarily deals with the maritime affairs that have to be addressed in those regions.
Superintendent Samuels, I believe the messaging ahead of the approach of Hurricane Melissa was very, very strong, in particular to fishermen and other people who have interest on the sea. They were told that they must remove themselves from that space, they must secure their boats, they must head inland, and they must shelter and wait out the storm. I believe that there was pretty much widespread observation of those protocols. What are the concerns following the passage of the storm with fishermen heading back out to sea?
No, they have not been going back to sea as yet. Some unfortunately, some have lost their vessels, some have lost engines, but generally they have not been going back to sea as yet. Because as you would appreciate, the sea is really dirty now. There are a lot of debris still on the water floating around. So it's not safe or feasible for them to go back to sea as yet.
Now, what are some of the responsibilities of the Marine Division? Is it simply search and rescue? Is it additional security protecting Jamaica's borders? Is it identifying potential hazards on the sea or on the coastline? Could you tell us a little bit more in detail, more granularly, about the responsibilities of the unit?
Right. It's all that you have mentioned and more. We are as I said before, we are the primary law enforcement maritime agency for the country. So we work closely with the JDF, as I said before. We work closely with NEPA to enforce environmental laws. We work closely with the Fisheries Association to enforce fishing laws. We work closely with Wildlife and Protection, that's NEPA as well. And we also assist with search and rescue operations. So it's wide and varied. And we operate under a number of different acts, a number of different laws. It's very interesting because some of the things that we do, some people are not aware. Some people are not aware of some of the things that we do, but we do a lot of things. And as I said before, all that I have mentioned, those that you have mentioned, and more.
Our newsroom certainly is aware of the work that you and your team do on the high seas. I'd like to ask you, though, ahead of the passage of the hurricane, were you called out to rescue any fishermen that found themselves in distress?
No, not immediately ahead of the hurricane, but it happens from time to time. Sometimes fisher posts go to sea. Their vessel engine develop defects. They call for assistance. We assist them. But it happens from time to time, but none immediately prior to the hurricane.
All right, I'm very glad to hear that, Superintendent Samuels. Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure listening to some of your insights and the exploits of your team, who I suspect will be very busy in the weeks to come.
Very busy. Thank you for having me, and all the best.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right, we're going to head to a quick break. This is Lead Story. We continue in a moment.
Visit VC's electrical sales today at 21 Mannings Hill Road, Kingston 8. Come see why VC's electrical sales is your go-to for quality electrical supplies at great prices. Check our website to see a sample of our products or call us for the full inventory at 876-622-9800. VC's Electrical Sales, also known as VC's Electrical Depot.
It's time!
Welcome to High School Pitchside. We have another fascinating episode for you.
More matches, more big clashes.
Let's talk about some of the big rivalries coming up this week.
More of your favorite features.
And trust me, you won't fall asleep in this history class.
And of course, we always want to hear from you.
Hear from your alma mater's players and coaches in Team Talk.
You know we can't leave you out. So send us your messages on social media and watch us react on FanView.
And you know we love a good little debate, right, Gio? We've got you covered all season long on High School Pitchside.
High School Pitchside, your ultimate guide to all things schoolboy football, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
The internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than
Welcome back. This is Lead Story, tracking Melissa, the aftermath, relief and recovery. I'm Joel Crosskill. Now, as we were speaking about ahead of the break, in the hours following the passage of Category 5 Hurricane Melissa, the U.S. State Department announced that President Donald Trump authorized an immediate U.S. response, directing the Department of State to mobilize support for affected communities. Secretary of State Marco Rubio deployed a regional disaster assistance response team, otherwise known as DART. That includes urban search and rescue teams to address needs and provide search and recovery assistance. The State Department is collaborating with UN agencies, NGOs, and host governments to deliver food, water, medical supplies, hygiene kits, temporary shelter, and search and rescue support. Minister of Information Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, during this morning's media update on Jamaica's recovery efforts, highlighted a number of international partners that have reached out to the government with offers of support. We hear from the minister now.
I should note at this point, since we have acknowledged Cayman, there are many governments around the world that are offering support to us. We've gotten support from the US government, we've gotten support from the EU, from the UK. All of our Caribbean brothers and sisters have pledged support. I know Trinidad, last night we were on the phone with them and they have a shipment coming to Jamaica. Many other entities around the world have pledged their support, and we are so grateful to all of them for that support. Okay, and now we go to Minister Morgan. Minister Morgan, it is your time. Jamaica wants.
I believe at that press conference we also heard of some support from the UK, or it may have been subsequent to that. We heard of support from the UK government, who have mobilised £2.5 million, which is the equivalent of about 510 million Jamaican dollars in emergency humanitarian funding to support the Caribbean region's recovery from the devastation that has been wrought by Hurricane Melissa. Now, the funding is in aid of a rapid humanitarian response, including the delivery of emergency supplies. Those include shelter kits, water filters, blankets. We're trying to prevent injury, and we're also trying to prevent the outbreak of disease in these areas. Now, these emergency relief supplies have already been pre-positioned in Antigua to ensure that they can be rapidly deployed to where they are most needed. UK humanitarian and technical experts are also being deployed to the region to assist with the coordination and delivery of aid, according to Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper. Now, new British High Commissioner to Jamaica, Alicia Herbert, added that the UK stands in full solidarity with the people of Jamaica in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. The High Commissioner adds that thoughts are with those who have been affected and paid tribute to the courage and resilience of the Jamaican people as recovery begins. High Commissioner Herbert added that the UK is committed to supporting Jamaica through this challenging time, working alongside the government of Jamaica and partners as well to assist with relief and rebuilding efforts. I believe there's also a naval vessel that has been deployed to the region as well in support of that effort. So certainly the world is rallying around the call of Jamaica and Jamaicans, many of whom you've heard from during our newscast, during our extended newscast. So we've been on air covering the events of Hurricane Melissa in its entirety, and we intend to ensure that we continue to do so. Some very profound, compelling, tragic imageries are reaching our newsroom, and as you can expect, everybody is all hands on deck in order to bring those stories to you, and in particular to assist individuals who find themselves in areas of distress, who just want delivery from the issues. And speaking of delivery, I believe Nika Lewis spoke with a medical practitioner in Trelawney. And I think they had a very, very compelling and interesting conversation. I believe we have that now, do we?
So Trelawney, the roads are impassable. There's a lot of landslides from Stettin, wire fence all the way up the houses. We learned about 2 lives that were actually lost during the hurricane. 2. And we also learned about a bird that was given. I am nervous because 98% of houses are damaged. Business places are flooded. It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know what to say. I'm tears. But we're alive. That's all I can say.
Wow.
That we're alive.
I heard that there were some breakaways en route from Albertown heading into Christiana. You know about any?
Yeah, man, I can send you some additional images, but yes, a lot of landslides.
What's the mood like down there? What about the farms and the elderly? Who is most affected? What's the situation otherwise?
So the corner shops, those are badly impacted because the roads would be out. They're gone. The mood is like we're just picking up the pieces as we go along. We find where persons are helping each other to, replace the things that were removed. The elderly persons, I can say, I've learned about a few persons who had to go into their homes and take them out and bring them to a safer place. The mood is not so tense on my end because, like I said, we're picking up the pieces as we go along.
Yes.
It's just that we cannot move from community to community. There's the light posts, majority of them are damaged. Lights hanging in the road. And we learned about one baby that was delivered.
Where was that?
Stettin by nurse. She's a justice of the peace nurse, Colin Clark, who the store.
Wow.
Delivered a baby in the store.
Wow. And in terms of the deaths, you mentioned 2. I heard of 1 initially.
Well, we learned about another one this morning in Cambland.
Oh no.
Yes, it's in the same area.
So a male and a female, or just?
It was a male, it was an elderly woman, a man. Sorry, I'm not rushing my words all over the place.
That's understandable.
But we also learned, what we also learned, it's alleged, I have to say, because it's from my eyes, we learned that the house, that's what we were told, they found him in the yam field, lying face down. That's what I was told.
My goodness. What is most needed now there?
We need for the post roof, housing. The housings are badly impacted. Housing is it's impacted. And light comes along with it because most of the posts, JPS, we need that as well. We can't go out of the community, so we need food. We really need food and we need water. Because like we said, the roads are impassable. We cannot move from one point into another point, especially from this end to Manchester. We're not able to do it as well. So housing is badly impacted. We need food. We need water.
Right. In terms of medication and medicine, are there any communication, or has there been any communication regarding how relief will come to you?
We have no form of communication. I'm not connected to you by Starlink from a neighbor. It's the reason why I can communicate. There's no phone signal. Nothing.
And you don't know the situation in the shelters, what those might be like at this time?
No, not at this time. Not at this time. But we're still, like I said, our steps are limited. I had to walk this morning from my community, which is Stettin, up to Wildfence, and it took me almost an hour because of the amount of debris that are in the road. And it is.
I heard that there are some communities that are marooned. Do you know any of those communities?
No, not at this time. Like I said, the communication is limited. It's like from mouth to mouth. But we would love to go out and find out in other communities, but there's this build-up of debris. Like I said, even if we have somebody here right now in Stettin, Alberto, Nika, there's no way to get to the hospital, especially Sparlington, which is closest to us.
Yeah. What would you want the authorities to know right now about what is happening down there?
like I said, housing is a big thing because there are persons who are really impacted, and of course we're going to provide shelter for the persons who are vulnerable at this time. But we want to know that, especially for the roads, we have to consider persons who are going to. Because myself, being a trained PCA, being in the nursing field, I've learned how to help persons with anxiety attack. That's a big thing for us now. So persons with asthma, these persons we really, really need to ensure that the roads are fully cleared. So in the event we need medical attention, you can either come in and assist us with medical facilities. Sorry, that's all foolishness for me. Full up. But we need that. We are over. I don't know.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Have you heard from the MP or the councillors?
No. Well, we saw, one of the councillors even stating that he went around and he would have assisted the damage as well. He's providing counselling as well, and he's working the community with us as we speak.
Why is counselling important at this time? Some people may never understand that element.
My grandmother is 75, and when I heard her say, I've never seen nothing like this, it moves me to tears. You're in a wall house and you're like, okay, it's hurricane. Even these persons are impacted, whether by flood, the waters come through the windows, they come through the doors. It's like the older persons are telling the story. This is nothing like Gilbert's.
All right, very, very compelling interview there by Nika Lewis looking at the issues in Trelawney. We heard from them that they need support, medication, food, water, etc. And support is certainly flowing internally as well.